What's going on, guys? Alex over at 14EC, and today I'm ready to do my full review on the Kershaw Knives Auto Iridium. Now, this of course is in via the Lefty passaround group, and I have not handled the manual Iridium, but if it's anything as good as this, which I think it has, it's been, Kershaw's probably Kershaw's most popular model over the last year and a half, whenever it came out. They have the Iridium, the Auto Iridium now, the Mini Iridium, the Premium Iridium, the budget, standard Iridium. There's so many different flavorings, so many different, variants of it out there. And the Auto Iridium is the newest one. So we are going to be doing the full review on this today. So without further ado, we're going to jump over to the tabletop view and get started with the review. So see you guys in a second. Alrighty guys, we are switched over to the tabletop view, and we're going to talk about this beauty right here. This is the Kershaw Knives Auto Iridium, like we already stated in the video. You guys can see right there the flag, USA made, loop over style, deep carry pot clip that is reversible, which is very nice to see. You have a backspacer with a built-in lanyard hole, which I don't really love lanyard holes, but I like when they do things like that. It just adds a little bit of an aesthetic appearance to me. You have some nice, you guys can see that or not, I'm still getting these angles worked out. Some nice milling, not milling, excuse me, some nice chamfering on the side, which is really cool, something you don't see that often in this price range. Of course, you get the push button auto, fires out with a beautiful drop point style blade. This is honestly, like, I have caught myself just staring at how handsome this blade is. It says Auto Kershaw right there. It is in Magna Cut, which is very, very cool. Of course, it's made in the USA, as are all the launch series from Kershaw. Excuse me. They're considering this a stonewash, and it's a very heavy stonewash, which I love. This is honestly one of my favorite blades in a while, and it's really, crossed my mind why it's taken me so long to check out the Iridium. Now that I have in the Auto, well, I'll be getting rid of it in a few days. I'm going to miss it quite a bit, and I've actually considered getting one of these. I don't have any automatic knives in the collection, and I think this thing is a great value, which we'll touch on later in the video. But I also want to check out some of the manual Iridiums, because that is obviously what this is based off of. Yeah, I just love that blade shape with that swedge building up top. It's very, very thin. You guys can see top-down view right there. Nice and thin behind the edge. And that is just such a beautiful stonewash. I really became and developed a strong liking for stonewash. A dark stonewash is fantastic. It's just a good worker's finish. You can scuff it up a little bit. You can put it through its paces, and it's not going to scratch as much as satin, so that's why I've become a big fan of that. But yeah, I pretty much went over the materials already. You get some, actually no internal mailing, but it's very lightweight to begin with. Very clean design, very simple design. Yeah, so I'll give you guys some quick specs right here, and we will move on to the next portion of the review. You get an overall length from tip to butt of 7.87 inches. You get a blade length of 3.5, so nice 3.5-inch blade, which honestly, I have a few 3.5-inch blades in my collection, but you guys know I tend to stay, closer to 3.25 to 3-inch blade lengths. So as far as 3.5-inch blade goes, I could not tell that this was that big. It did not feel that big in hand. So that is, something to take note of, that a guy that doesn't usually love bigger knives couldn't tell that that was the blade length of this one. Like I said, Magna Cut, they are calling this a spear point, but I definitely see, I would say it's more drop point with some spear point vibes. Regardless, very, very handsome blade shape. Comes in weighing just over 3 ounces at 3.07, so very lightweight, especially for the blade size. Anytime you get a 3.5-inch blade that weighs close to 3 ounces, that is a huge win. All around, very, very lightweight, and you can definitely tell in the carryability, in the ergonomics, and anytime you fidget with a knife, you realize, man, it's very, very lightweight. So, but as far as materials are going, again, you guys know how it is here on 814EC. It's very hard to get anything other than the 5. Magna Cut aluminum, deep carry pot clip that is reversible, push button auto, beautiful blade shape, beautiful stonewash, all the beautiful things. 5 out of 5 on the materials. Excuse me. I'm also going to leave a link down below to Blade HQ. This one, for some reason, the ZT models, if you guys caught those, the 0044 and the 0512, for some reason they were the same price on ZT's website as they were with the dealers. But for some reason on Kershaw's website, this was like $50 more expensive. So I did find a link to Blade HQ. I'm going to leave down below. If you guys are interested, it's currently in stock, so I highly suggest going over and checking it out. But that'll be linked down below. Just wanted to let you guys know. Aesthetic, I mean, come on now, guys. Like, I feel like once I'm done with this review, and I have the Kershaw Kindred to do, which the Kindred, I'm going to be honest, is not going to rate nearly as high as the 0512, the 0044, and the Auto Iridium. But, I mean, the 0044 and the 0512 were, you know, both 34s. I think that this one has a possibility of being a perfect model. If not, it's going to be damn close. So, I mean, this is just one of the better rated, you know, groups of knives I've had on the channel at the same time. So I just, you know, think that's incredible. But, you know, aesthetic, like I said, loving that blade shape. That is just really beautiful. And it honestly, like, I thought it looked good before I got the knife in, but it took me getting it in and handling it, excuse me, and, you know, just kind of holding it for me to, like, you know, for the aesthetic, excuse me, to go from like a 4 to 4.5 up to a 5. But it is insane. Like, I can't get over how good this blade looks. I'm not sure if this is how, you know, thin and good looking the blade is on all the other Iridium models, but I definitely need to look into that because it's so good. It's so clean. It's so simple. Again, the handle shape, and you have a straight line. You pretty much have a straight line before you get to the finger groove. It's simple, clean. You guys know I love those two things when it comes to ergos, yes, but aesthetics. So without dragging this out too much, it is an easy 5. Looks so good, and I love the way this thing, you know, just eats the camera up. So 5 out of 5 on the aesthetic. Next, we're going to talk about an action. And I'll say this, the action on the Auto Iridium does not hit as hard as the ZT 0512, of course, but it is so good for the price you're paying. I mean, you're paying half the amount of price for the Auto Iridium. Fires right out. Obviously, it is a out the side automatic. You get the push button right there. Has a little bit amounts of knurling, jimping, milling, whatever you want to call it. Just consistent, clean. This is now, I believe, the 4th launch I have handled. I've reviewed 2. I've reviewed the 19 and the 20. I love the 20. It was, this one's pretty damn close. It was my favorite of the 2. This one is very, very good as well, obviously. And then I did give away the Launch 11 from DNK Knives. Dawn sent it over to me. Excuse me, I can't talk right now, guys. I do deeply apologize. He sent it over to me for my New Year's giveaway. I never reviewed it though, but this is the 4th one I've handled, and the Launch series just does such a good job at delivering a clean and crisp break when it comes to opening these knives. Just very, very good. I mean, you guys all know and love the way an automatic knife feels. It's not something I would want my whole collection to be full of, because I would miss the manual, you know, closing aspect of, or the closing aspect of manual knives. But there's just something cool about, you know, pushing a button and having a blade shoot out like that and just ready to work. I really, you know, do enjoy a good automatic action, and this is up there as one of the better ones I've handled. Of course, it's a thin blade, but you get a nice long blade, so you have plenty of real estate flying out of there. And again, it's not going to break any speed records for deployment, but it's just, it really amplifies what the Launch series brings, and that is affordability and great value. So spoiler alert, this is going to get a pretty high rating in the value section later in this video. But as far as action goes, the spring is nice and tuned. You know, it's one of those types of actions with automatic knives where it's nice and resounding when it fires out of your hand, but it's nothing, you know, it's good to feel, it's good enough to feel like solid and snappy enough, but it's not snappy enough to like buck out of your hands. You guys can see I can do it with 2 fingers, and it moves a little bit, but I mean, it's just so controllable. And yeah, I just talked like 3 minutes about that to give it a 5. Great action on the Auto Iridium, very, very snappy, very, very consistent, and that is 2 things you want with an automatic knife. So 5 out of 5, and we are going to move on next to the acoustic section. Acoustics on the Auto Iridium. Sounds like every other automatic knife, if I'm being honest, but I think that's worthy of a 5. I did mention in the 0512 video, excuse me, a 4. If I said a 5, I apologize. I think that when it comes to automatic knives, so when I review manual knives, my baseline is pretty much a 3.5 out of 5 with the acoustics, and if it's better than that, you know, I will rate it accordingly. I think with automatic knives, it should automatically be a 4, and then I rate it accordingly, just because automatic knives are just, you know, that much better sounding sometimes. So I will go 4. I mean, it's nothing special when it comes to automatic knives, but it is, again, it's special to automatic knives, the way they fire out, the way they just give you that really nice resounding thwack, that snap. So 4 out of 5 I think is fair. If I had to nitpick one section of this knife, it would have to be that one, because everything else is pretty damn good. So moving on from acoustics to ergos. Like I already said, very clean, very simple design. I can get all 4 fingers in this knife very, very easily. You have jimping up top there for your thumb whenever you are in a saber grip. The way the aluminum is finished, there is some chamfering going on both sides, and that's, you know, you don't really see that too often. I hope my phone is able to pick that up on the camera. But you have like this section, and this section, they're all split up by very minuscule lines. The feeling of the aluminum is great. It's not slippery like some other aluminums. It's not going to slide out of your hand. It almost has like a matte finish to it. Just so comfortable. You have a landing choil up here if you guys want to get some closer, you know, grip to the blade. Your thumb can land out here for doing push cuts. Gives you great control. Again, very, very thin blade. Gives you a very nice amount of slicing power. Yeah, I mean, excuse me, ergos are just really good. The pot clip is, of course, a loop over style deep carry pot clip, but it's not causing hot spots in the slightest. It sits right there in the crevice of your pinky, or crevice of your knuckles, excuse me, and does not have an issue whatsoever. It's nice. It is lefty or righty. I mean, yeah, it's, you guys, I guarantee you, if you were to look at this knife for a few minutes and I asked you, okay, now what do you guys think the ergonomics are going to be on the Auto Iridium? You can easily tell me that it's going to be comfortable. You can just tell by looking at this design how clean the lines are, how clean the handle is. There's not a lot going on, but to me, that is when the ergos really shine on knives, when they're simple. And I mean, it's probably the biggest thing I can preach to you guys. And it's something I say in probably every single review video that I do. I love clean and simple designs, because when you have a clean and simple design, it translates over into a clean and simple ergos, and those are the best in my opinion. So, I mean, it's hard to not give it a 5 on a lot of these categories. Like I said, if I had to nitpick on something, it's going to be the acoustics, because ergos are a 5. Next up is carry. I can already tell you right now, which I also say in a lot of my videos, 5 out of 5. I mean, it basically weighs 3 ounces for a 3.5-inch knife. You know, it's very slim, very sleek, sits down in the pocket. You have no flipper tab, no jimping, anything like that to possibly catch your hand on. If you're down past it, underneath it, getting change, chapstick, anything floating in your pocket. Sure, it could go a little bit deeper in the pocket, but that's just the way the design is, the way it tapers off back here, and you have the backspacer. Doesn't bother me in the slightest. You have about that much sticking out of your pocket, but again, not a big deal. You can switch it over to Lefty, which is very nice, especially for a automatic knife. I mean, yeah, there's nothing really else to talk about. You know, so I hate to draw out these simple and easy to explain categories, but it's just very, you know, simple and clean and easy is a good definition of this knife. So 5 out of 5 on the carry, and that leads me to my final category of price point slash value slash would I recommend this knife. The price point, if you guys were to go to the Blade HQ link, I have linked down below, is $169.95. You're telling me that I can get a USA made automatic knife with Magna Cut steel, aluminum blade, or excuse me, aluminum scales, had a brain fart there, loop over style, deep carry clip that is reversible, lightweight, great size for sub $170. I mean, that is a steal, guys. The launch series in general has always been, you know, known for being very, very value driven. You get a lot of bang for your buck. And I think that this is, you know, as much as I love, between this and the Launch 20, they're my two favorites. I mean, they're like 1A, 1B. I could swap them back and forth every day. This is just so good, guys. It's really a great value, you know, and it's one of those knives that I can absolutely recommend it to anybody without a doubt. It's very, very good. I think it is a great, I mean, if you're looking for a one-all, you know, if you're looking for one automatic knife to add to the collection, which is kind of where I stand, I much prefer the manuals in the EDC world, but I would love to have, which I said this for a little while, I eventually want to have one auto knife and I want to have one OTF in the collection, just because I think every, you know, EDC guy should, every knife collector should. And this is making a very strong case to be the only auto in my collection. I know that I'm going to miss this whenever we send it off, or I send it off to the next person. And yeah, I mean, I can't wait to see what different colorways they come out in, what special editions they come out in, because I think that this, just like the regular, you know, Iridium, is super popular. I think it has been, you know, there's been some guys in our group chat on Instagram that have had these in that have really been blown away at how great the fit and finish is. And I mean, Kaiser is just really upping their game in the last year and a half. Like, their launch series has always been good, but I think that they are taking, you know, a little bit of what they're learning with doing like the Bel Air and some of their other, you know, nice models, and incorporating that a little bit into the launch series. And this is the product that we're getting, guys. It's fantastic. Can't recommend it enough. And like I said, I think I might have to add one of these to the collection one day. It's affordable. I mean, it really is. It's not like you're going out and buying a $300 ProTech, a $300, you know, Microtech, anything like that. It's affordable. It's sub $175. If you can find it on someone's website to where you can use someone's code, you know, you get it for even less. But I mean, it's a great value. The price point is great, and I can't recommend it enough. It really is fantastic. So let me count this up real quick. Yeah, so we're getting a 34 out of 35 on the Auto Iridium, which is the same score I gave the 0044 and the 0512. So to have, you know, 3 knives all from the same factory, same manufacturer, of course, as the Kershaw, the other 2 are ZTs, but I mean, you guys know what I'm talking about. To have 3 34s in a row, I mean, that might not be topped again when I have, you know, a group of 3 or 4 knives in. And I feel bad because the Kindred's not going to get, you know, as much love as these 3 got. It's still a good knife, and you guys will see that video, my full review on that, the day after this one. But yeah, I mean, the Auto Iridium, I can't say enough good things about it. I have been very, very in love with this knife since I've had it in, and it's so good, so comfortable in hand, all the good things you want. And yeah, I'm gonna have to add one of those, I think, to the collection at some point, maybe this year. And like I said, I want to check out some of the other Iridiums, the Mini, the Premium, and see what the hype is out, and see if it's as good as the Auto is. But yeah, so huge shout out to Kevin over at Lefty EDC for always allowing us to check out really cool stuff. Like I said, I was the first one from Kev on the pass around for these packages, so I was really stoked to get them in, and they did not disappoint. But this was my full review on the Kershaw Knives Auto Iridium. Huge shout out to you guys for always supporting, you know, liking, subscribing, doing all the things you do. Leave a comment down below, please, as some feedback. If you guys have watched, you know, the first 3 or 4 videos of the top-down view, does it sound okay? Does it look okay? Are there any critiques you guys have? Are there any things I can improve on? Because as always, I would love to hear what you guys have to say. But I'm going to wrap this up now. So thank you guys again so much for watching. I really appreciate each and every single one of you guys. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your morning, evening, day, night, whenever you're watching this. And I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.